Hi, good people. Hi, TIs. It's Sherry, and I am here with some free and valuable information today. Some information that's going to help you to benefit yourselves as well as each other. Okay, so today I have an animal dedication video called Fix and Chip. Okay, Fix and Chip. It's kind of a play on the fish and chips. All right. So, what is that? What is Fix and Chip? Okay, I'll go into it. I'll let you know. So please stay till the end so you can get all this little information. Forgive me, I am looking at my notes here. I'm trying not to, but I am. But you guys, you know me, okay? So this is what I do. Today's video is called Fix and Chip, okay? Fix and chip what? Your animals, your pets, your beloved pets, right? Okay. Now, I am not a professional. I don't have any veterinary experience at all. However, I have been a pet owner for most of my childhood and most of my adult life, as well as my family members, extended family. I come from a long line of animal loving people. So I know a few things, okay? And I can help you learn these few things, and we can all work together to make it better for our beloved animal pets, okay? Let's get into it. Okay. One thing I wanted to mention, I think this might be a good place to start off on, is that, and if you're not Christian, I don't know if you want to watch my video, but you're more than welcome, good people. But one thing in the Bible, it describes Adam and Eve. Now, before even Eve came to be, it said that Adam, got a chance the true God gave him a chance to name all the animals. Okay. And that was an honor. And that showed the relationship that Adam was to have with the animals. Of course, having dominion over them and taking comfort in them and pleasure and just watching them and that was even before Eve. Of course, he still needed more than animal companionship, of course, because animals are different, they're not human, obviously. And then Eve came later and everything. But how important that animals are to our being, right? To our human experience. Okay. So, and for those of us who love animals, you already know. And for those of you who haven't had a chance to be around animals, I tell you, it's a wonderful thing. It'll change your life. Okay. So let's talk about fix and chip. What do you mean fix and chip? Okay. I mean fixing by spaying and neutering. Okay. So now there is a problem that exists. All right. There is an overpopulation of domestic animals, cats and dogs. And let me paint the picture for you. Okay. So millions, millions, I'm not exaggerating, across the United States and in the world probably billions, but just the United States alone, millions of healthy, young, perfectly well, perfectly healthy animals, cats and dogs, domestic, and this is not for food supply. This is actual, pets. They are euthanized, okay, daily. Shelters and places are euthanizing them, not for sickness, not for food supply, okay, to be of use to us, but simply because there are no homes for them. Okay, fine. Animals can live in the wild, they can. And cats, I think sometimes, it's just as well that they can live outside rather than being euthanized. However, dogs, it's harder. They're in the city and everything. So I digress, but that's the picture, okay, is that they're being euthanized on a daily basis. And I'm not exaggerating for effect. This is happening, okay? And how sad that these perfectly healthy animals are taking their last walks just because there was no homes for them, because there's an overpopulation of them. Okay, they're overpopulated. There's not enough humans to give homes to the animals. Okay, so fixing and spaying helps. Okay, I mean, fixing your animals, fixing covers both, male and female. Males is neutering, females is spaying. Okay, you guys got it. But the point is, millions of healthy animals are dying. Okay, let me just give you a little bit of the numbers here real quick, guys. Okay, a perfectly healthy female cat and a perfectly healthy female dog, they have a short gestation period. Gestation meaning the time that they're pregnant. They're actually pregnant. Okay, humans, it's 9 months. Okay, cats and dogs, it's only 4 months. So that means a healthy one, which most are, they can be pregnant up to 4 times a year. 4 times, one female cat or dog. Okay, and during the time of pregnancy, they're not like humans. They don't just have 1, 2, maybe triplets, quadruplets. No. They usually have multiple births, 4 and up, usually around 6. And I know this because, like I said, I've been a pet owner my whole life. And when we were younger, as many people do, we didn't have access to, we didn't have a lot of money. We were on welfare. So we didn't get our animals fixed. Okay. We had them. We loved them. We, sometimes we give them a bath. We'd feed them. We'd water them, pet them. They slept with us. They lived in our house. But we didn't have money to go to the doctor, for the animals. Okay. So some of our animals, and this is irresponsible, but this is what happens when you're poor. A lot of our animals ended up pregnant. So I know firsthand, and none of them pregnancies with those cats were under six kittens. None of them. None. They were all 6 and up. Okay. Poor things. Bless their hearts, That's the issue. And again, they can be pregnant up to 4 times a year. Same thing with dogs. Okay, so you're beginning to see the big picture here. Imagine 6 kittens or 6 puppies. Do you guys know 6 available good homes where people can afford them, can have time for them, and have the space for them? Okay, the answer is probably no. Okay, you might know 1 or 2, but then you still got 4 left, and that's out of 1 litter. Just remember those numbers, guys. Remember those numbers, okay? This is serious, and it's preventable and it's fixable. It's real easy. I'm not going to be, this is going to be an interesting video. I don't mean to give you, I don't want to make you sad or anything. I'm just giving you the realistic numbers here, okay? So that's what happens. Okay, so each cat and each dog, female, can have up to 24 kittens or puppies per year. Okay, that's a lot. And there's not enough homes for those 24 puppies or those 24 kittens. Maybe some of them, but not all. So what happens to them? Do they just go off and live? Some of them, but usually dogs in the city will get, can't survive on their own. So where do they go? They go to the shelter. What happens if they still can't get, even after months, the shelters try their best and they can't adopt them out? What happens? Healthy dog, healthy cats being euthanized. Sad and tragic and preventable. Okay, so what is the solution? Fix and chip. Chip is microchipping. You know what that is. That's where they put the little bitty microchip under their skin, and that way, that's a great tool in case they ever get lost. Then when they scan the pet, the cat or the dog, your information comes up on the chip, and they can ring a ding, call you, and you can go pick up your animal, okay, with a fee. But I digress. So fixing and chipping, okay? Your local shelters do it. Veterinary clinics do it. I mean, some of the local shelters, they have vets, bless their heart. This is all they do all day. They spay and they neuter. Again, spay for females, neuter for males. Spay and neuter all day, trying to make a difference in these numbers, to bring them down. It's no fault to the animals. They're fertile, wonderful, but no homes. Healthy kittens. Imagine being euthanized and they didn't even get a chance to live out their lives, Preventable though, okay? So let's see. I'm just looking at my notes here. I want to make sure we cover everything. All right, so the way we can prevent this is spaying and neutering our animals, okay? Our cats and dogs, all right? And the surgery is 1 day. It's the same day. Sometimes with the females, they have to spend the night because it's a little more of an invasive surgery. They actually have to go inside because female anatomy, people and animals is on the inside. Male anatomy, humans and animals is on the outside. Okay, so it's easier for the males and a little less invasive, again, because it's on the outside. All right. So some pros and cons with this spaying and neutering, okay? For one, you're helping to control the animal population. That's the biggest thing, guys. You're helping to prevent deaths, unnecessary, fruitless, wasteless, just desolate death when there's not necessary, when you can prevent it in the first place with spaying and neutering your animals, okay? So you're going to help that if you go ahead and get this done. You also, in animals, dogs and cats, you can decrease some behaviors. Like especially with male cats, sometimes they like to mark their territory. Usually they don't, but every once in a while you'll get that cat that likes to do that, and then you got a house that smells like cat pee-pee. That's no good, okay? Also too, sometimes, don't always think it's behavioral. I just want to say this. Sometimes male cats and female cats can have UTIs, urinary tract infections, and that will make them spray, go potty, go pee-pee outside of their box, and they'll have your house stink into the high heaven. But just don't assume that they're being bad. Don't assume that, they're animals. They're, sometimes they do have behaviors, they're marking or they're upset, there's a change in their routine, a new pet or a new person, or a person died, there's, they like that person. There's behavioral responses or reasons for marking, and there's also medical. So before you get mad at your cat or dog for marking, just make sure you take them to the vet and have them looked at. Make sure it's not a UTI. UTI can be treated so easily, just like with us. I mean, what, we're going to get euthanized because we have a UTI? I'd have been euthanized a million times over. I digress. I'm kidding. Am I? Anywho, okay. So pros and cons. What else? Oh, also the females. If you have female cats and dogs, I'm familiar with cats. They go into heat cycles, which is when they want to mate to reproduce, right? Which is what we want to avoid. If you get them spayed, they won't have heat cycles. Now, if anybody has had a female cat, you know what I'm talking about. A heat cycle with a female cat, I mean, I don't know if you want me to do a rendition of it, but it's kind of like, that's like really crazy, but that's how it is. And it's all like, it's throughout the day, throughout the night. They rub their butt up on things. I mean, it's very, very uncomfortable for all involved, to live with a cat like that. And if you've never owned a cat, and if you don't know this is a thing, this is a thing. And not just some cats go into heat, not just some female cats go into heat. It is just a female thing. Not only some go into heat, most, if not all, will have a heat cycle. So don't even waste your time putting up with that. And then they go into heat, they can be pregnant every 4 months, every 3 months. So 4 times a year, they're going to go into a heat cycle. And it can last a week or sometimes even 2 weeks. Oh, depending on the cat. So, avoid all that. Avoid it. Spay and neuter. Okay. And you can get your cats neutered. I got a female cat. She was 2 pounds when I got her spayed. Okay, 2 pounds. They can do it, as long as they can anesthetize them safely. 2 pounds, they can figure out the medication and calibrate it. And yeah, okay, so it can be done. So don't wait. Spay and neuter. Okay, fix and chip. All right, what else? Another thing that spaying and neutering helps with is decreasing the how puppies and kittens can be kind of, playful and hyper, and we love it. It's so cute. It's part of their nature, but also too, it can kind of be a little bit wearing, when you get them fixed, it does take it down just a little bit. I had a really active cat. He was a kitten, and before he got neutered, before I took him in, he was super active. And when I got him out, he was still super active. So it did, and he never turned fat or anything like that, because that was one of my concerns as a pet owner. I'm like, oh, you hear sometimes, you spay and neuter, you're messing up their hormones. So I'm like, oh, is he going to turn into like a fat cat, because he was kind of long and sleek. And I like that about him. It was his original body. I didn't want him to, get deformed over it. And he didn't. He's still slim and sleek even after being neutered. The good thing is, though, is to get him neutered young while it's, kind of like circumcision and all that. It's just have it done. The sooner the better, but at least have it done within the first year. Okay, when they're full grown. What else is the pros and cons about spaying and neutering? Oh, one thing, and this is really important, it decreases the, if you have like a purebred, pit bull or a chihuahua, something really like cool looking or original that people might want to steal from you. It helps when you have them spayed and neutered, because it makes them less attractive to dog thieves, because people do dog nap, and I've had that happen before. I think because he was a really cool looking dog, somebody took it upon themselves to steal him. Well, he is neutered, and he was, shelter dog. So, they're not going to be able to breed him. But be aware, you guys, good people in TIs, there are people out there that will do that, especially with certain breeds. Any beautiful dog, pit bulls, whatever, labs, shepherds, if they're not fixed, that's like they can become more attractive to somebody who wants to steal them. Okay, so just a little FYI, that's another thing that the spaying and neutering helps with. Okay, another thing, spaying and neutering, I know some people have that attitude that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why mess with, especially a lot of times men, no offense, but I understand, men. Why neuter them? Why spay them? Just leave them like God made them. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Huh? You've heard that, right? Some people have that point of view. And while I respect that, that makes sense. Why mess with them? Just leave them alone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Problem is, it is broke. It's broken when they're overpopulating and they're having kittens and puppies, and those kittens and puppies are being euthanized, okay, put to their deaths. their deaths when they haven't even had a chance to live their lives. They're being killed. Then it's a problem. So it is broke. So you do got to fix it, you know? And how do you fix it? You fix the animal. You get them spayed, you get them neutered. It's a same day. I want to mention this. It's a same day surgery, okay? Quicker for males. They can usually go home. You drop them off in the morning, you pick them up in the afternoon. I did this. I was in school full time and I worked full time. I dropped my little guy off at the vet and in the morning before class, I went to school, and before I went to work my second shift job, I picked him up and I dropped him back off at home. Came home later that day, he was totally fine. He was still under the, but it was fine. Same day, it's not too invasive. With females, again, sometimes they have to stay the night, but still, you drop them off one day, you pick them up the next day, and it's only one time. It's a one and done. You don't have to always keep doing this. There's no maintenance. Once they're fixed, they're fixed. They're sterilized. So it's good, you have to follow all the precautions before the night of surgery. No food or drink after a certain time. And but yeah, you know, it's wonderful, and it helps the problem. Okay, so that there's less animals euthanized. Okay, looking at the time here, let's speed it up. All right, Sherry, this is a question you guys might think. What about breeding? What if I want to breed my dog? My dog's really cool, and I know this because I had a family member. If dogs are really cool or a cat's really cool, you should maybe breed, especially dogs. You should breed them, make more of them. No. No. There are, people think sometimes with purebreds, pit bulls, I'm trying to think of really cool, boxers, German shepherds, any kind, Shelties, the little blue-eyed dogs, what are they, Weimaraners, the hunting dogs. If a dog is purebred, it's not going to end up in a shelter. It will always have a home because people can pay big money for purebreds and they never get rid of them. Well, that's just not true. There are purebreds in shelters as well. Okay, they're more expensive to buy because they don't want people abusing it and just going to buy them and resell them. But the point is that there are pure breeds, and I've seen them, especially pit bulls, of course, but also things like pugs, purebred German shepherds, purebred Labradors, Saint Bernards, Rottweilers, Chihuahuas, Dachshunds, mini pinchers, all large, mid-sized, small breeds. In kennels, in shelters. So the fact that they're purebreds doesn't mean that they need to be bred. Okay. There are, if you go to your local shelter at any given time, I bet there's on average at least 10 to 50, okay, 10 on a good day, 50 on a bad day, dogs that are going to be euthanized that week. Okay. That's 10 healthy dogs. These dogs are healthy. They could go to homes, but there's not enough homes. Okay, there's just not enough of us to do all that. So as much as we love animals, we love them, and you can have them as pets. They're healthy, they're cute, they're lovable. I mean, but that's why it breaks your heart to think that they have to walk to their deaths. They have to be killed even before their life has a poor animal that didn't do anything. They're like children that way. They're very innocent. They didn't do anything. We got us into this mess. If you read your Bible, right? We got us into this mess. They're just here along with us. And the sad part is they don't even get resurrected. Oh, okay, we're not going to touch that one right now. But do you know what I mean? They have short lives. They only get to live a fraction of what we live. They depend on us for everything. They can't even let themselves out to be walked. They depend on us. They need us. They can't even hardly find food and water. They need us. So, we have dominion over them to treat them kind, and I guess it is, it is a kind thing when you can't afford to, feed or clothe feed or clothe. It is, we got a little technical difficulties over here, everybody. Hold on. Okay. And my light just blinked. Yeah. Okay, hold on. This is why when you do videos, you should definitely make sure you're all charged up. Okay. We good? We're good. Okay. Okay, so the point is how can we help this overpopulation problem so that healthy animals are not being euthanized? Because we love them, we have dominion over them, it's our responsibility. Is it more humane to euthanize them than for them to be living in cold, to be living in inhumane, circumstances? Yes. But if we can avoid euthanasias or severely decrease them to, decrease the deaths. Should we do that? Yes, we should. And yes, we can. We're strong. We're humans. We can do a lot. There's veterinarians that are working at shelters that's their whole job all day is spaying and neutering, boom, spay, neuter, surgeries, whole days spent doing it. So, I mean, people are aware, and are addressing the problem. So that's a good thing. So let us regular citizens help out too. Okay. And again with the breeding thing, just I wouldn't contribute to this by breeding. It's not. It reminds me of very much of trafficking. Okay, that's what breeding reminds me of. If there's already animals that are going to be euthanized, that need homes, then why does it make sense to go breed more animals? Okay, well, these animals are going to have homes, but the other ones don't have homes yet. Just because they're purebreds, they're more valuable than the mutts? Is that true? What if people thought about people like that? That's not. And again, purebreds end up at shelters too. Things happen, life circumstances, So just because they're a purebred, they'll never be in a shelter. That is not true. It's not true. Mm-mm. So don't do it. It's not a good idea. I'm not being judgy. I'm just saying we don't need it. The animals, trust me, don't need any help breeding. They don't need it. They don't need help. Okay, it's one thing for food supply or for food supply or for things like that, but just to have it, don't need it. When 10 to 50 are being euthanized a week, then do you need to be adding more to the population? I think not. Okay, so all right, not judging. I know when you know better, you do better. Okay, that's how it is. All right, moving forward. Okay, so all my animals get fixed and chipped because as of lately, I've gotten shelter animals and they always come fixed and chipped. So that is a good thing about getting shelter animals. Okay, they also usually have all their shots, their rabies. Sometimes you have to get, when you go to the first appointment, you got to update them on a little bit more. But they have the basics, rabies, and they're chipped and they're fixed. So that's a good thing. I feel better knowing that I've helped decrease the overpopulation issue. And then, sometimes things happen too. Sometimes, animals can get lost. Sometimes you might have to give them up for whatever reason. And then you never know if the next person is going to, get them fixed. So if you just get it done, it's just better. It's just on my conscience, I feel better doing that. Okay. And plus shelter animals, they always come fixed and neutered anyways, or spayed and neutered anyways, which is wonderful. Okay. And again, it decreases the stealing prospects. If you got a really cool looking dog and somebody, I can't tell you how many times I've had people come up to me when I had my old dog. They're like, wow, that's a really cool looking dog. And one of my first things, I'd always say, yeah, he's good, but he's fixed, and he was. So, I mean, you're not going to steal him and breed him. So don't get that out of your head. Some people, just so you know, you gotta be smart in this world, right, guys? Okay. So again, how can we help? How can we help? We can fix and we can chip. Okay, get a microchip. That way, if they get lost, you'll get that call if they're found by the shelter or the vet, and somebody brings, has it, and they bring it into the vet to get it looked at. As soon as they scan that chip, your name and number will come up, and you'll get a call. Okay, so that's good. And then just get them fixed. It's called neutering for males, spaying for females, but fixed. Fixed is the generic term. Okay, the blanket term. Also, too, what else can you do to help? Okay, this is the call to action. Call to action. What else can we do to help? You can volunteer at a local shelter. Yes, you can. And it's fun. I'm telling you, if you love animals, it is so fun. You meet plenty different people, plenty different animals, that need you. They need companionship. They're domestic animals, You can also, I dare say, gain experience, even if you're doing things like cleaning kennels, cleaning out cat boxes, washing dishes, doing laundry, you're doing something to help, it makes you feel good. There's more happiness in giving than there is in receiving, right, guys? Yeah. And then also too, you can get to the point where you can become a dog walker. I know at our local shelter, you have to do a little bit training before you can get to that level, because that's more of a risk, obviously, walking a dog. But it is wonderful, to go for a walk, and you don't got to go by yourself. You get a dog to go with you. And of course you get trained, you've got to know how to be safe and obviously don't get bit. don't let anybody else get bit, let the dog enjoy his or her walk, and give them some exercise, and they love it. They love it, and you'll love it. It's a way to help. It's a way to give back if you're looking for something like that. Otherwise, there's so many volunteer, you can volunteer so many places, whatever is your passion or whatever's in your heart. I'm just saying animal shelters are fun. And sometimes, for the longest time I didn't volunteer because I thought, well, I'm going to get sad if I go there. And then I thought to myself, Sherry, that's the places where they need you the most, where people are sad. Like, how selfish to be like, oh, I can't go there, I'm going to get sad. Well, they're sadder. They're the ones there. They're stuck there. It's like jail or like nursing homes or hospitals. I don't want to go there because I'll be sad. It's our responsibility to bring in good energy to places of darkness, right? Especially as Christians, we know that that's our responsibility. It's in there somewhere. I think Paul, when he was writing letters, from jail, was saying that, not just pertaining to himself, but just in general. Don't forget about people. Don't forget about the animals. Don't forget about people in nursing homes. Don't forget, volunteer while you're young and healthy and you can do it. You got a car or you got a butt, get up, get your clothes on and go volunteer. You'll feel better. There's more happiness in giving than receiving. I'm telling you, meet some cool people, you meet some cool animals. It's wonderful. It really is. So, and again, you can also gain work experience, valuable. And if you do it right, you show up on time, you do a good job. I dare say, I don't know this, but I'm just assuming you could possibly use volunteer work for references when you want to get a paid job, okay? So something to think about, right? Nothing is pointless. There's something to be gained in everything, okay? All right, what else? What else can we do to help this problem? Okay, we can educate people in our community. Things like talk to people, when you go to the store, the grocery store, when you go to the laundromat, when you go to church, when you go to, I'm trying to think of where else, pet stores, talk to people. Sometimes people have pets. And like me, I grew up poor. We didn't know to fix to fix our animals or to chip them. We didn't even know that existed. I guess we did, but we were so poor we couldn't think of that. And we didn't know how important it was. We just thought it was cool to have kittens. But obviously, when you don't have homes, again, it's not. You're not helping. So, but again, certain communities don't know that and don't have the resources to that. So don't judge, don't just assume people are being irresponsible. How could they do that? Help people help themselves, help them, and then they'll help their animals. If you make a good impression. But if you're going to get snotty about it, how you do, your nose starts crinkling when you start judging. Oh, your dog's not fixed. What? Your cat's not fixed, right? Your nose starts to do that little scrunchy thing. The disdain. Don't do it. Don't. Try not to. It's good people. They might just not know any better. Help them help themselves, and so that they can help their pets. Okay, educate them. Tell them. Okay, I got some resources for you. I just want to cover real quick two things. Okay, so you want to spay and neuter your cats and dogs. Okay, you can get this done at your local veterinarian. So call a veterinarian, get it done, or you can get it done at the shelters. Now, at the local shelters, it's a lot cheaper. Okay. For instance, some local shelters for cats charge $75. Some for dogs, $125. Doesn't matter if it's male or female. Traditionally, spaying females is just a little bit more because it's more invasive surgery. Okay, for the veterinarians. Only thing, if you do it so those are the prices at the shelter. $75 for cats, $125 for dogs. Okay, now contrast that to your local veterinarian, like a low-range veterinarian. It's going to be, or mid-range, it's about $400. I know for our dog, we paid about $450. And he was a bigger breed, and yeah, to get him neutered. Okay, so, and about the same if he was a female. I remember the prices. So about $450. Okay, so but that covered, I think, the examination and the blood work. They have to have blood work, to make sure they can survive the surgery. What are their levels? But the good thing about, it is a chunk of change. It is, compared to, I wish I would have rather paid $125 at the shelter. But with the shelter, if you choose to get your cat or dog fixed, have the surgery done there, you pay a lot less, but you have to book in advance, meaning, if you call the local shelter today, some of them aren't even taking appointments until the new year, until January. Okay, so from October to January, that's how booked they are. And you got to call right away. Like, don't even wait a week. Like the 1st of January, mark your calendar. If you want, you'll save some money. You really will. You'll save $400 by doing that, going through the shelter. But it's limited. It's an application process. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, your local vet will always do it. Don't just go to the vet. Don't just go to any vet. Go to one I don't know, just search around a little bit. Do a few calls, get the prices, see which one you like best. Some are more experienced with certain breeds. Like I know there's one in our town that just does a whole bunch of pit bulls and like Rottweiler, guard breed dogs. So when you bring your pitty or whatever into them, versus some veterinarians more are like they don't see as many pit bulls. They see more, all vets see all types of dogs, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Just, but it doesn't matter because when you get an animal fixed, spayed, or neutered, it's only one time, one and done. You don't have to keep going back. They don't need any, you know what I mean? I mean, maybe like at the first month if there's complications, but once it's done, it's a once in a lifetime surgery. Then it's done. You don't got to worry about it. You have helped yourself. You have helped the animal population. You've done your part. It's the responsible thing to do as a pet owner, and you feel better. You do. You know that any puppy or kitten or dog or cat that gets euthanized because they didn't find a home, that you didn't contribute to that. At least you tried to prevent it the best you could. You did your part, okay? And that's all we can do sometimes. So there's the information on that. Why fix and chip, that's the name of this video. Fix and chip, like fish and chips. Fix your animals, okay? That's the best thing to do, okay? To be kind and to do the right thing. That was it. Okay, I don't want to drone on anymore. I think you guys got the point. I thank you so much for your time. You guys are wonderful. And yeah, check out your local shelters or your local, old folks homes. Those are people who need people. They need visitors. They need visitors. I'm going to tell you something I'll leave off. Okay, don't just, okay, hear me out. Anytime, just because you volunteer with animals or with people, it's not always, just like work, paid work. It's not always rainbows and, a lot of times it is. You're like, oh, la da da, you're bringing coffee and treats and snacks and the dogs are good and the cats are good and everybody's having a good time. Your coworkers are in a good mood. And it's like that mostly. But don't be discouraged if you go and, you get a cat that's a little sassy or you get a dog that's a little, and it's like, oh, I wanted to, you wanted to pet the dog and play with the dog, but the dog more wants to play by itself when you take it, or if you go to an old folks home and volunteer and they get a little sassy. Some of them, they do. They're, you got to figure they're cooped up all day too. They're at us, many of them, not all of them. But, they're at a point in their lives where they're more vulnerable and it's, they're, there's lots of things you can imagine. Just imagine you're young and healthy. Now imagine, you're older, you're not as mobile, you can't walk, you can't, go shop, you can't live your life the way you once did. You're still living it. They still live their lives, okay? But understand that, they're dealing with a lot. So if you go and visit and if they get sassy with you, remember I said, don't take it personal. Water off a duck's back. Some of it's funny too. I mean, boy, the stuff people come up with sometimes. Wow, ouch. But, consider the situation and still do your part. Try to help, you never know. And for every person who acts sassy, there's another one that's going to make your day. You're just going to click and some of they're so, I mean, really, you'll enjoy it. You guys should. Animals and people, do some volunteer work. All right, that's enough. I talk too much. Thank you guys. Do your research. Have a great day. Okay, bye.